Hey, my name's Tom Granger, and this year alone, I have spoken with well over 100 CROs and revenue leaders at B2B organizations. And these are the top 3 bottlenecks that I'm seeing that is hampering sales growth. Okay. And it's not only hampering sales growth, it is decimating sales growth. And I'm seeing this in all the conversations that I'm having. Stress is increasing, quotas are going up, and effectiveness is going down. Okay. So in this video, I'm going to cover what are those 3 bottlenecks. Okay. Then I'm going to walk you through the system that you're likely using to generate new sales right now. And then I'm going to walk you through a new system that we've been rolling out across all of our clients over the past couple of months that is going to eliminate all of those bottlenecks and help you to scale your pipeline drastically without increasing headcount and maybe even decreasing headcount as the system becomes so efficient. Okay, let's dive in. So the first bottleneck that I'm seeing is that outbound is in its effectiveness going down. And this means across email, phone, maybe there's other channels as well, LinkedIn, whatever it may be, messages, I don't know, okay? But the main 2 channels that most B2B orgs use for their outbound are emails and phones, okay? And it is not 2021 anymore, okay? You cannot just go out and blast millions of emails to your prospects with little to no infrastructure. And that's why we're seeing email going down and down. And I see this consistently in my conversations, people following bad practices. And this means that the effectiveness is going down. Most orgs that I spoke to have generated in the past 90 days of speaking with them, maybe 1, maybe 2 qualified leads from email. Okay. So that tells you a lot about the effectiveness of email and also phone as well. We're seeing that connect rates are going down. Data providers are providing crappy data that is not allowing people to get connected. We're also seeing rollouts across, Apple, Android already had this, but Apple's now rolling it out. Most people are using Apple of AI call screening. So they're now going to screen those calls before they're going out. We'll see how effective that is at stopping calls over the next couple of months. But we are seeing a drastic reduction in efficiency of outbound channels. Okay. The next thing here is pipeline shrinkage, and this is dramatically connected to the first issue here. Okay. We are seeing pipelines shrink. Okay. That means that you as a CRO, a revenue leader, have less coverage over your pipeline. Okay. So you're not getting that 3x coverage that you're going to need to feel comfortable that you're going to hit quota. Okay. You're also seeing longer deal cycles. And again, this is connected to the final point here with more decision makers. So deal cycles are increasing. Stakeholder numbers are also increasing. And this is creating lower certainty in your ability to generate pipeline, okay, in your ability to hit quota. That's keeping you up at night. You're probably stressed out. I mean, I completely understand that when your pipeline isn't where you want it to be, it's very stressful. And then if that's compounded by outbound getting less and less effective month over month, then this is going to stress you out as a person. Completely understood, right? Finally here, and this is to sort of add a nail to the coffin or just to compound that pressure even more, you're getting quota pressure. So that means that quotas are increasing. Okay. So maybe this is from VC pressure. So, maybe you have fundraised in the past couple of years and these VC firms have invested in Web3 or AI. And a lot of those are not generating the results that they once were. So the VC pressure is falling on companies like yourself to go out and generate them a return. They want a return, so they're increasing their pressure, and you're not able to do that because outbound is getting less effective and your pipeline is shrinking. Or maybe you've got internal quotas from very ambitious founder or leadership team, which is completely fine. Companies increase their quotas every single year. But if outbound is getting less effective and your pipeline is shrinking, then if you didn't hit quota last year, how are you going to hit an increased quota this year? Okay, so this is the big 3 issues that I'm seeing right now. And in this video, I am going to walk you through what that system is likely that you're using right now. And I'm also going to walk you through the solution to that as well. Okay, so let's clean up the whiteboard and we will dive in. Now, bear with me, guys. This is the first time that I have done a whiteboard video. Going full guru mode here, but I am by no means a lecturer or a teacher, so my handwriting is pretty poor, so just bear with me, give me a chance. Okay, so this is likely your current system that you're using. Okay, you have been scaling and have been taught to scale by traditional sales theory and playbooks that you have been operating from 2019 plus, or maybe even earlier, is that you are going to scale through increasing headcount. Okay, so there's your nice happy salesperson. You are going to scale the business by increasing the amount of people that you have operating on the phones. And this worked really well previously. And the reason that it worked really well previously is because this one person was doing really well. Okay, they were generating maybe 100 calls a day. They were sending out sort of 30 to 50 emails. Okay, and this was working. This was allowing them to hit quota. They were booking in calls. This is fantastic. Okay, and this is, in my opinion, where the lack of creativity is sort of showing itself within the sales space, because this is the only playbook that I'm seeing pretty much anybody follow in 2025 still, and even though it is decreasing in efficiency. Okay, so this works well when this is producing meetings. Okay, so if you're getting meetings on your calendar, that's great. This is fantastic. Okay, but the problem with this is that this is no longer an effective model. And the reason behind this is because you're using outdated tech. Okay, using outdated tech and outdated tool stack. So if we look at email, for an example, okay, most of what I'm seeing people do with email now is they're still sending from their main domain. That's your website. Okay, they have their SDR teams, and each of their SDRs has an email like this. Okay, and the problem with this is all of these email accounts are connected to your main domain. They're not sending with good practices. They're sending 30 to 50 emails a day. We've got the same thing over and over again. And what this means is that if you have a team of 10 SDRs, you're potentially sending, 500 emails per day from your main domain. Okay, and again, this may have worked in 2020, 2021, but email service providers are now really cracking down on this, and they're really cracking down on email deliverability and making sure that that is working correctly and that you are following the right rules and the right regulations. And again, most people aren't. Okay, and what that means is that these emails are going straight to trash. Okay, they're getting thrown in the trash and they're going straight to spam. Okay, so emails are not being as effective anymore, and there's a whole bunch of other reasons there as well, and I will cover them in a different video, because this could be another 2-hour-long video on why email is not effective anymore. But you're seeing this. Okay, you're seeing email not be effective, and it's because you're using a system that connects your SDRs to your main domain, and they're also not following best practices. Okay, email has become so much more competitive in the past few years, and the reason behind that is because of tools like Instantly, yeah, and other tools in the market like that as well. Okay, basically what this has done is democratized cold email. Okay, previously a company would be able to do cold email with an expensive tech stack, an enterprise level sales loft account or something like that, meaning that they were the only ones able to do that. Tools like Instantly democratized it so that anybody can go on, pay $97 a month and send thousands and thousands of emails to the market. And what that means is that the competition has gone up drastically. Okay, drastically. Okay, so if you're an SDR and you're sending 30 to 50 emails a day, you're just trying to hit your KPIs in terms of the numbers that you're sending. Okay, at the end of the day, you'll probably book 1 or 2 calls, you'll make a few excuses, you'll get a bit of pipeline, you're going to get paid at the end of the month. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. If you're a solo entrepreneur and you are, you're eating off the bread that you are baking yourself, that you're generating yourself, then it is so much more important for you to have success with cold email. And now that you're able to do that, okay, you're going to apply all of your knowledge. You're going to apply all of your effort into doing that. That means that you become really good at cold email. Okay, that means that the competition is going up because more and more people are good at cold email. That means that your SDRs are getting left in the absolute dirt because they're not following best practices. And a solo entrepreneur is able to move at speeds that the SDRs are not able to do. Why are they not able to move at that speed? Because they're bogged down by bureaucracy, they're bogged down by internal IT teams, by legal, whatever it may be. That a solo founder, okay, let's say this is the solo founder, doesn't care about and is not able to and is not affected by. Okay, so your solo founder is smashing cold email right now, absolutely blasting your SDRs in the bin, and just causing utter destruction, and that's why you're seeing it. Okay, now it's a little bit different on the phone because not as many solo entrepreneurs are running the phone. Okay, the phone still has a barrier to entry in the terms of it's scary and people don't want to do it because they get scared. They don't want to do it. So you know, we still have a little bit of a moat with callers. So anyone who's wanting to call is able to do that. But what we are seeing is a degradation in the effectiveness of the data that we're getting. So we're seeing, data providers, their data is getting worse and worse every year. So, your traditional data providers like ZoomInfo, like, maybe you've got Apollo there as well. I can bring out the yellow just for the Apollo. If you're using these, then you're seeing, data not as good as it used to be. And again, that's causing a decrease in the results of the cold calling campaigns that you guys are doing right now. Okay. So again, all of this right now is causing your pipeline to shrink. And this is a broken model. So previously what it would be is you would have RevOps that are maybe pushing ZoomInfo email accounts to a team of reps. So if we do that, times 10, okay? So these are very expensive. First of all, if you're going to get them for 10 people, paying 10 SDRs is also very expensive. In the USA, you're looking at a minimum cost of around $6,000 per month, and that's maybe with ToolStack, that's maybe with other benefits there. So if you've got 10 SDRs, you're paying now $60,000 even, sorry, and in the UK as well, similar, $60,000 per month to have a team that is just not effective anymore. Okay, so if you're using this system, then stick around because I am going to walk you through in the next section here how we can avoid this situation completely and how we can scale with 1/10 of the headcount here. Okay, let's go. So welcome back. This right here is the $1 million pipeline machine. This is the exact system that we set up for one of our clients, the cosign, that allowed them to generate well over $1 million worth of pipeline and close a $800,000 deal, generate 145 sales qualified leads in just a couple of months of working with them. Okay. And what I've done is I've split this into two different areas. Okay. We've got demand gen, demand capture, and both of these are very important, but I think the emphasis is on the demand generation. Okay, demand gen is absolutely important. If you're looking at this in traditional terms, maybe you'd call this marketing and you would call this sales, but I see it a little bit differently. I like to call it demand gen and demand capture. Okay, so demand gen, I've split it out into 4 different channels here, but there are other ways of doing this as well. But this is the 4 that we're seeing work really well. First of all, LinkedIn, and this is LinkedIn organic. Okay, so this is founder-led content. You're seeing this from people like Adam Robinson, from huge creators that are online, Gal Aga. All of these guys are posting on LinkedIn and generating a massive amount of organic impressions. Okay, because their content is interesting. This is not just generic 2010 corporate content with background music on the background. Okay, this is real, impactful, authentic content that cuts through the noise, that tells people what they want to hear, that gives them interesting insights into the world that these incredibly talented founders live in. Okay, so if you are the founder or a revenue leader or something in that area, then you've got insights that people are interested in hearing. Okay, and it doesn't even need to be directly selling your product at all. That can just be a side note of it. What you're looking to do here is to generate demand, to generate renown, to generate clout, to generate reciprocity. Okay, I hope I said that right, and to generate that parasocial relationship with your audience. Okay, this is top of funnel. You are generating people who are becoming aware of you. They're getting touch points with you, and they are slowly learning to trust you. Okay, and this is the big thing I've mentioned previously, that the way that buyers are now buying has changed. Trust is so important. Okay, you see this with like Alex Hormozy and people like that, where they talk about don't sell in your organic content. You can sell later on with ads and with demand capture, but the main goal of organic content is to build up a fan base, is to build up an audience, is to build up trust, and to build up almost like a love of you and yourself. Okay, so this can be founders, but then also get your employees posting as well. If you have 50, 100, 200, 10,000 employees, you have an army that you can deploy as a content machine. Okay, all you need to do is incentivize them properly, create incentives, create money, whatever it is. I don't know about this. I don't know the legality of this. Talk to HR. I'm sure they'll be able to figure it out with you. But create some form of incentive mechanism to get employees posting, and then give them the correct training in order to post content that actually resonates. Okay, because if you have a founder that's generating a couple of thousand impressions on every post, if you've got 100 employees, that's 100,000 impressions. Okay, so take myself for example. Myself and my co-founder Louis, we both consistently post on LinkedIn. Louis posts 5 times a week, I post 3 times a week, and in the past 90 days we've both generated over 1 million impressions. That's over 2 million impressions for free. Okay, it's only taken a little bit of our time to post that if we'd spent that on ads, that would have cost us tens of thousands of dollars to achieve. Okay, so if you are a company with a large number of employees, and you have a good culture, then get them posting. Okay, there's some really great examples out there of this working really nicely for companies. Okay, now what you can then do is, if a post does particularly well, as in it gets decent results, just making sure we're focused on the whiteboard here, then what you can then do is boost those ads to a select audience. Okay, so you have a founder post that's doing well. A great way to generate more top of funnel is to take those posts and then boost them to an audience of your ICP. Okay, so this is a really good way of doing that. We're doing that right now. Next is YouTube, just like what you're watching right now. So vlogs, behind the scenes. If you again are a larger company, you have VC money, you have you're doing well, then you can afford to bring on a content team to help you, or at least someone, an intern, whatever it may be. Okay, follow you around with a camera. Okay, create vlog style content, create educational style content like this. Okay, don't put any asks in it. Again, you're just looking to generate an audience of people that trust what you say, because what you are is an expert in what you do, and give them that information. Okay, YouTube is absolutely huge, and again, it builds that parasocial relationship. Why do you think people like Mr. Beast, etc., are able to create these companies and sell millions and millions of dollars worth of products? Because they've built an audience of people that love them. It's the same thing for B2B. In fact, I would say it's more effective because you don't need as big of an audience. Okay, and it's really underutilized and undertapped right now. Look at stories like Instantly, look at stories like Clay. Both of them have huge YouTube following. So go and look at them, and then ask yourself, why am I not doing this? Okay, SEO, I'm not an expert in SEO by any means, but again, focusing on SEO and growing your organic searchings, looking at things like AI SEO. I'm seeing a lot of chatter about that right now. It's massively important. We are starting to show up now, which is really cool. I'm really happy about this, but this is something that we're going to focus on personally ourselves. And then events, so things like speaking, panels, booths, whatever it may be, at events that are relevant to your industry. And the beautiful thing about it is all of this all connects into each other. So LinkedIn posts are doing well, create a YouTube content, create SEO about it, create a blog article about it. That might get you an invite to an event to speak on a panel. Same thing with events. You can film that. Now you've got content for your YouTube. You can talk about it. Now you've got more LinkedIn content. Okay. Same thing with SEO. That might get you invited to events because someone's come and found your company or whatever it is. Okay. Again, you can use SEO for YouTube. The more YouTube videos that you have out there, the more chances if someone searches your name that you're going to pop up for SEO, and the same thing backwards and forwards. Okay, so you're going to create this beautiful demand generation machine. Yes, this is marketing, but I like to call it demand generation because you're generating demand. Okay, so demand capture. Okay, so I've broken this down into 3 areas, and then a little additional over on the side. I'm going to explain what that means and what the reason behind it is. Okay, so demand capture is capturing the demand that you've generated with your marketing efforts through LinkedIn, YouTube, SEO, events, other things that you're doing here as well. Okay, so the way that we're going to do this is by tracking different sales intent triggers, okay? So we're going to track things like web visits, we're going to track things like social media interactions, and then we're also going to track other different sales triggers as well. So we can track web visits with tools like our B2B and Vector. Instantly has their own web tracker. There's others out there as well. You just find ones that work for you, okay? We personally use Vector and our B2B and filter them both into one clay table down here. Then you can get social triggers as well. So again, you can use tools like Triggerfy.io for this. You can build out maybe an NAN workflow or something along the lines to do this if you want to, okay? There are other tools out there. But again, this is tracking things like likes, comments on your stuff on LinkedIn, your YouTube, your whatever, Reddit, whatever it may be. And at the same time, your competitors as well. So not only can you track yours, but also your competitors. And then also you can track profile viewers as well. So someone that's clicked on your profile. We often find that profile viewers are a really good indicator of someone being interested in your service or just curious about you. So it's a good reason to reach out with a very casual message to have a chat with them. Okay. And then we've also got our knowledge base over here as well. Okay. So I'm seeing a lot of people, when I ask them about their ICP or who they're looking to target, they don't have a very clear picture of it. So something that we've now integrated into our new service offering for our clients is the knowledge base, and the tool that we use for this is a tool called Octave. So basically what this is an AI powered tool, and it takes into account what you do as a business. So you have a knowledge base on your different product offerings. And again, if you're like an enterprise company or a company that has multiple service offerings and it gets quite complex, it's a great way of you actually being able to build this out. Okay. Really, really powerful. Even if you've just got one product, it's also really good as well. Okay. You can also have all of your personas that you're targeting in there as well. So, you know, maybe targeting CMOs, CFOs, CEOs, whatever it is, and it will build out all of the sort of pain points that they're dealing with, their day-to-day role, all to do with your product as well. Then you can add in things like references, so case studies, you can add in competitors and a whole bunch of other stuff. And basically what this does is it creates this compounding base of knowledge that is super useful for everything that we're going to do down here. Okay. So all of our triggers, the web visits, the social, and then other triggers here as well. So we can track things like job changes, fundraising rounds, hiring sprees, all those sort of things that may be indicative that we'd be interested in your product. Again, you can customize this based on what you want. We filter these all into Clay. So we're monitoring these triggers with Clay, but then these social triggers and the web visits, we are funneling straight into Clay. Now, Clay is acting as the filter, the enrichment aspect of this funnel right here. So they all get moved into here. We then enrich these leads, so these people, with either email addresses, LinkedIn profiles, phone numbers, and we're also qualifying them as well. Not everyone that visits your site, not everyone that likes your profiles, not everyone that has a trigger is going to be highly relevant to you guys. So we are going to make sure that they are with Clay. Okay, so we can build out AI qualification to go and do some research on this prospect with AI. We can find out firmographics about the business, are they a general match? And then we can look at AI qualification as well, find out specific things about them, maybe on their website, about the person specifically. Okay. So once we have qualified them and enriched them, we can then funnel them to outbound. Okay. So instead of using what we were traditionally using, which is static lists, okay, and funneling them to SDRs or salespeople to then go and contact, okay, we're now getting hyper warm leads that we have generated through demand generation and then captured with demand capture. We're then funneling them, enriching them. Okay, so we know they're even more qualified. Okay, and then we're enriching them with valid email addresses, which is key, and valid phone numbers, which is super key. And then we're funneling them to our different outreach mechanisms. Okay, now one of the things that we typically recommend to do is removing email from your SDR's function, okay? And the reason why we recommend that is that in 99.999% of cases, they are not emailing in the most efficient form possible, okay? Which means that if you want email to work, you absolutely have to have dedicated infrastructure, okay? So you need real infra, okay? Especially if you are going up market, okay? If you are targeting companies that are, big SMBs to small enterprises to large enterprises, if you do not have dedicated infrastructure, you are not landing in their inbox, okay? If you just have them on a standard Outlook or Google Workspace account, it's not being warmed up properly, your domain has a terrible reputation, everything's going downhill, you're not going to get any success. You need absolute dedicated infrastructure, okay? So we build this out for our clients, we get dedicated infra, okay? And this allows us to funnel those leads into the email part of it. Again, this is automated, so we send it down into here. We then use Octave, which is our knowledge base, to write completely custom AI emails for all of those warm leads based upon the different playbooks that we've built and the agents that we've built within Octave as well. And what this allows us to do is send a lower volume of emails, incredibly warm, that are super personalized. And it's not like cringe personalization as well, where we're talking about where someone went to school. We're really diving deep into their role, what are the pain points, and then how does your solution solve that problem. Okay, so we're sending them emails. And again, what this allows us to do is increase the domain reputation and the reputation of our infrastructure, because we're sending them warm, so it's a lower volume, we're getting higher reply rate. And what this allows us to do eventually, if we want to run some experiments, once we have really proven messaging, outbound messaging, is we can actually then go cold, okay? Because the domain reputation's high, we're getting good reply rates, which the email service providers, Google, etc., they are seeing this as good. So we can then go cold, and we can test out cold campaigns as well. So people that maybe not have heard of you because your demand gen's still kicking off, we can then go cold, okay? And then we also add in calling as well. And this is why I say that this system, okay, requires a lot less manpower than this system right here, okay? You don't need 10 SDRs doing, 100 calls a day. You need maybe one, I would say let's do one SDR, okay? You need one SDR that is following up on all of this demand. They're not focused on email. They're doing social selling via LinkedIn. They're interacting, they're getting in the communities, they're talking, all those things. And then they're doing highly targeted calls as well with warm intent behind it. So it's so much easier for them to get on the phone and have a chat. Okay. And then again, eventually we can introduce some cold into this as well. Okay, so this is what we see as a $1 million pipeline machine. This is the exact system that we installed for one of our clients, the Cosign, as I've already mentioned. I hope you enjoyed this video where I've walked you through the three sort of main problems that you're probably facing right now as a revenue leader, the system that you were using previously, and then the new system for 2025 that we are installing for all of our clients now. If you want to find out more about this system and how we can help you do it, typically we help revenue leaders, CROs, at B2B organizations doing between 1 and 10 million. There is some leeway either side, but particularly between those levels to install this system. Okay, if you're interested, there will be a link, the first one in the bio, where you can go and find out. If not, I hope you enjoyed this video. Go and dive into this, start applying it to your business, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Cheers.